Stop the tunnels on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Stop the tunnels! Wait. Stop the tunnels!
Is this
It's a video.
or-
The video.
Okay, great. Awesome. So, hello everyone. My name's Max Perret, and I'm with Food and Water Watch. I'm a local organizer, and we're very happy to have all these organizations here today to voice our opposition to the tunnels project, which of course would have huge ramifications, not only for the Delta and the habitat there, but also for the ratepayers of Santa Clara Valley Water District. So I just want to share a few comments and then pass the mic over to Jane from Restore the Delta to share some more comments about why we're opposing the tunnels. So today we're gathered here to voice our opposition to the Bay Delta Conservation Plan, the BDCP, or commonly known as the Twin Tunnels Project. This project's unnecessary and is estimated to cost anywhere from $25 to $54 billion. This would be an outrageous water grab that the people of Santa Clara understand would not provide any additional water or any tangible benefits to their pocketbooks or to the environment. As the San Jose Mercury News so succinctly put it, the Twin Tunnels Project could be one of the biggest water grabs in the state's history. Let me be clear, Food and Water Watch supports responsible levels of exports, but if we are being honest with ourselves, the Bay Delta suffers already from excessive water exports, and today 60% of the water exported from the Delta goes to big agricultural interests outside of Santa Clara. This project would not increase water supply for the ratepayers of the Santa Clara Valley Water District. Yet today we are faced with the reality that the people of Santa Clara Water District would be the ones to foot the bill for out of Santa Clara interests. Santa Clara Valley Water District does receive a mere 4.2% of the total water exported from the Delta, but this comprises 50%, a full half of supply for its ratepayers. With the economy still suffering from the Great Recession, people simply cannot afford the expense of funding an unnecessary project through rate hikes. It is unfortunate today that we have again witnessed inside that those in support of the Tunnels Project are using fear-mongering to disguise the fact that this would provide a service to Big Ag and Big Oil at taxpayer and Santa Clara Valley ratepayer expense. While our levees have never failed us due to an earthquake, Food and Water Watch urges our decision makers to ensure that they never do by strengthening them. Together we can work towards solutions, but the Twin Tunnels Project is not a solution that is viable, either for the ratepayers of Santa Clara or for the Delta's fragile ecosystem. Thank you.
Yeah! Yes!
Thank you, Max. I'm Jane Wagner-Tyke with Restore the Delta, and we too are here to encourage Santa Clara Valley decision makers to oppose the BDCP. It's a massive infrastructure project. It will cost taxpayers and ratepayers way too much money. It can't meet the promise of reliable supplies, and it will divert precious public resources from strategies that could encourage sustainability all over California. The main feature of this plan is 2 tunnels, each 40 feet in diameter, 35 miles long, running 150 feet underneath the Delta. The disruption to Delta communities during the 9 to 10 year construction period of digging these tunnels will be extreme, and a unique rural landscape will be permanently transformed by the addition of huge industrial water diversion facilities. Even proponents admit that there will be no return on the investment. In other words, there will be no water flowing until close to 2030. In the meantime, and half the time, once the tunnels are actually built, water diversions will continue from the South Delta, where pumping facilities using obsolete screening already massacre fish. The current estimated cost, as Max said, is about $25 billion. Long-term interest costs will easily double that, And then, of course, we'll have the inevitable cost overruns, which everybody recognizes. And just now inside, the board was told that if adaptive management doesn't work the way they think it will, they can be expected to throw in some additional money for that, too. This past weekend, the Sacramento Bee reported that BDCP planners are going back to the export agencies to spend an additional $1.2 billion on planning and design of these tunnels before the project construction even starts or is assured, in fact. That's 5 times as much as has already been spent in planning for this. The draft material, which is being released today, will still be fatally flawed, though, because it will ignore the fact that in California, more water has been promised than can be reliably delivered. Farmers, who, as Max noted, get the majority of export water, are already beginning to see that they won't get enough reliable water to make the peripheral tunnels worth their investment. It looks like substantial tunnel costs will be shifted to urban ratepayers, who are assumed to have deeper pockets. And, this is important, 1/3 of the total cost of the project is not tunnels at all. California taxpayers will be asked to pay for actual restoration costs of this purported habitat conservation plan, starting, we expect, with a water bond next year. Secretary Laird just told the board that this is the largest habitat conservation project ever undertaken, and in fact, this is being promoted as a plan to protect endangered fish and restore habitat in the Delta. But interestingly enough, the fisheries agencies that must permit it are not convinced that these 2 giant tunnels capable of diverting most of the water from the Sacramento River will be operated in a way that benefits fish. The project will devastate sustainable farming in Delta region communities, damage boating and recreation economy, and further ravage natural resources in the Bay Delta estuary to benefit water users in other parts of the state. We all want to support farming in California, but let's be clear. The largest agricultural beneficiaries of this project are giant corporations growing permanent crops like almonds and pistachios, primarily for export. They are doing that on drainage-impaired lands with poor soils, using water that was never guaranteed to be available every year. Our analysis of delivery data for the first decade of this century shows that just 2 San Joaquin Valley agricultural exporters, Westlands Water District and Kern County, took more Delta water than Santa Clara Valley urban users and Southern California's Metropolitan Water District combined. And this unsustainable farming represents less than 1/2 of 1% of California's economy. Tunnel proponents say that this project reduces risks from interruptions in water deliveries due to earthquakes. They will talk about the number of levees that have failed in the Delta since 1900. In fact, they've spent some time in here just now talking about the importance of reliability. But they won't tell you that the frequency of failures of levees in the Delta has dropped dramatically as local reclamation districts and the state have worked together to engineer levees to higher standards. Investments in Delta levees are necessary to protect infrastructure in the Delta that is of statewide importance, as well as protecting the people and economy of the Delta region itself. And this can be done for a fraction of the cost of BDCP. We think $2 to $4 billion. Meanwhile, people in this area, in the Santa Clara Valley, already understand that they have seismic investments to make much closer to home, like your own Anderson Reservoir. The peripheral tunnels cost too much. It can't fulfill its promise of ensuring reliable water supplies while saving endangered species, and it diverts precious public resources from strategies that could meet those goals. It needs to be stopped.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jane. And next I want to welcome David from Environmental Water Caucus to share some remarks on why he opposes the tunnels. Thank you.
David Ness, facilitator for the California Environmental Water Caucus. We represent about 30 organizations, fishing organizations and environmental groups up and down the state, including an Indian tribe up by Shasta Reservoir. We're very opposed to the BDCP. The planning process has been going on for 6 or 7 years, and now we're about to get the plan. The plan does not have, there's no science, there's no financing, there's no governance, there's there's most amazing, there's no more water. They're going to invest $50 billion and distort the state's economy because Intel Corporation, Intel has actually as much income as all of these agricultural enterprises that are combined. So we need to stop this. This canal is a terrible misuse of state and public funds. So we have to stop it.
Yes.
Thank you, David. And next I want to welcome a representative from First Generation Farmers who has come from Delta community. Without further ado, Ali from First Generation Farmers.
Good morning. I'm Ali Cicchini with First Generation Farmers. First Generation Farmers is a nonprofit community farming project located in Discovery Bay, right on the Delta. We were donated 50 acres on a 1,500 acre plot with riparian rights. We take our water right out of the Delta. We provide opportunities for people to learn the basics of farming while conserving natural resources, providing ag education, and access to open space. Many of our members are young adults from the ages of 20 to 40. We have brought a few today who are pursuing beginning farming. If the BDCP moves forward, these young agripreneurs will not have access to adequate water quality, which will not allow them to contribute or be successful in our Bay Area food shed. So we have to stop it, and it's for our future.
Yes.
So next I want to welcome a representative from 350.org, from the local group from 350 Silicon Valley, to share some remarks.
Thank you. I'm Brian, one of the local leaders of 350.org Silicon Valley chapter, and I'm also chair of the Stop Fracking Committee for 350.org Silicon Valley. There are many, many reasons to be opposed to this outrageous plan to build the Delta tunnels. The cost has been explained already, $25 to $50 billion. The ratepayers of Santa Clara Valley Water District should be up in arms that we are being asked to pay these outrageous fees for so little benefit, if any. The plan threatens Delta farmland. We stand here united today with Restore the Delta, Food and Water Watch, and the coalition of groups that are opposed to this project. 350.org, as you probably know, is the leading group fighting climate change. As sea level continues to rise with the melting of the glaciers and the poles, the sea level is already threatening many of the low-lying coastal areas in the Pacific Islands. It's going to continue to threaten low-lying regions here in the United States and around the world. If this project does proceed, water is taken out of the Delta. That will only exacerbate the problem of salt water from the bay intruding farther and farther into the farmland. Sea level rise combined with the loss of fresh water into the Delta is going to ruin farmland. It's going to hurt Californians. It's going to hurt food prices, small farmers, and is a bad idea all around. 350.org is especially concerned that this is one of the unstated reasons for the project. We believe is that the millions and millions of gallons of water that are needed to frack the Monterey Shale in California will only be enabled by this project. That is, each well that it's fracked requires between 1 million and 5 million gallons of fresh water. There are thousands, literally thousands and thousands of potential wells to be fracked in the Monterey Shale, southern and central California. That accelerates climate change. We need to leave those fossil fuels in the ground. We need to keep our air and our water clean. We need fresh drinking water. We don't need to be dumping hazardous chemicals into the ground, toxics like benzene, toluene, and acids to free up these sticky hydrocarbons. They need to be left in the ground. So 350.org, 350 Silicon Valley is deeply opposed to fracking. We are deeply opposed to the Bay Tunnel Project. We stand here united with you today, and we say no to the tunnels.
Yeah.
Thank you. So finally, I do want to read a letter written by Joel Masser, who's a ratepayer of the Santa Clara Valley Water District, and who's also from the Dean Democratic Club of Silicon Valley, which helped us promote this rally and is deeply opposed to the tunnels as well. Dear Santa Clara Valley Water District Board of Directors, I do not believe that our water supply in Santa Clara County will decrease without the tunnels. But frankly, we should conserve more before building enormous infrastructure. Residential per capita water consumption in San Francisco is about 108 gallons per day. In Santa Clara County, it is about 172. And in Los Angeles County, about 185. We should be able to do better compared to Southern California. This year, I did my part by replacing my lawn with a native plant garden. I do not see any tangible benefits of the proposed tunnels to Santa Clara County residents. The benefits I see mainly go to large, unsustainable factory farm operations. Extra water going south will also enable and encourage fracking, unbridled development, and increased sprawl in the Central Valley and Mojave Desert. It will also benefit water and land speculators, increasing the share of water going to already huge corporate consumers of water in the Central Valley and Southern California will support future claims of prior use against urban users in the Bay Area. Finally, I believe that diverting more water away from the Delta will harm the Delta ecosystem, the fisheries, and recreation that will result in degraded water quality for all Californians. Right now, the Sacramento River water sustains water quality in the Delta and the entire Sacramento-San Joaquin watershed, which supplies water to about 2/3 of the population of California. If that water is diverted, we'll have more salty, germy, stinky, chemical-laden water that will have to be cleaned. The huge cost of cleanup is not factored into the advertised cost of the tunnels project. The directors of the Santa Clara Valley Water District shouldn't buy the bill of goods being offered by the state of California today. Sincerely, Joel Masser, resident and ratepayer of the Santa Clara Valley Water District.
Right on.
Right on.
And just to wrap up, I'd like to acknowledge all of the groups who are here to offer their support. Food and Water Watch, Restore the Delta, 350 Silicon Valley, Environmental Water Caucus, the Dean Democratic Club of Silicon Valley, the Energy Club at the University of Santa Clara. Who else am I forgetting? We have a lot. The First Generation Farmers, and Sierra Club Loma Prieta chapter. So thank you everyone for coming out today. Thanks for everyone for your support and ongoing work on this very important issue. And I know together we can win. So thank you.
Yeah.